This is the 2025 iPad Pro, and I'm wondering whether this is the perfect tablet for teachers. In this video, I'm going to look at whether the iPad Pro can replace that terrible HP or Dell laptop that you got from school, and whether it's a good device that you can use as your primary device while teaching. I'm also going to compare the iPad Pro to another perfect laptop/tablet combination, and that is of course the Surface Pro 11 and everything that looks like it. Now, the iPad is very good at being an iPad. It's an excellent device featuring an excellent screen, and I have the 11-inch 256GB Wi-Fi version. I combined it with the regular Apple Pencil, the USB-C version, but I did not get the Apple keyboard or the Magic Keyboard because I wanted to save some money on that, so I got an off-brand Belkin one. Now, all of this set me back around 1,100 euros, and this includes the pen, and teachers and students are eligible for an education discount through Apple's website, but I did not use that option. So, as with all of Apple's devices, it's of course beautifully crafted. It features a tandem OLED display, which makes the colors pop and which makes it extra bright, so correcting outside and working outside is not a problem. Now, it's also important to mention that this iPad Pro has been fitted with Apple's custom-made M chip, which they've done for several generations, and this is an important detail because that makes it as powerful as the regular MacBook Pros or regular MacBooks. So based on the performance, the iPad can be your primary teaching device. But we teachers aren't necessarily looking for the best performance. So what I'm going to talk about in this video are several scenarios that fit my workflow as an English teacher. Now, if you want to know whether the Surface Pro 11 is the best tablet for teachers, have a look at my Surface Pro 11 video, which is linked below. So I'm going to talk about three scenarios: preparing classes, teaching classes, and correcting student work. The first scenario that I want to elaborate on is preparing classes. Now, I work at a school where they use everything Microsoft, so we have Word, PowerPoint, Teams, and all of those shenanigans included in our subscription, and we also use Copilot, and of course all of these are available for the iPad. Now, this is where I want to point out the difference between macOS software and iPadOS software, because iPadOS software is of course made for the iPad, and it's made to be used on a tablet, whereas regular macOS software or maybe Windows software is made to be used on a desktop computer. And this is where you need to consider for yourself whether you're someone who likes to use all the available features of an iPad on a big screen, or if you want to use it on a Mac OS or Windows environment. And also think about whether you're able to accept the drawbacks of using iPad OS or iPad software or iPad apps. And for the most things, I think iPad apps are fine. So whether you're browsing the internet or whether you're simply creating a PowerPoint for your classes or maybe correcting some student work, the iPadOS versions of these apps are just fine. You can compare the experience to using the Word or PowerPoint version in a browser when you're doing this on a regular desktop computer. Now, when it comes to workflow, it works quite well because you can simply connect the iPad to a remote screen using the USB-C port. And if you have a dock that you can connect a keyboard or a mouse to, or even with Bluetooth, then you sort of get the same desktop experience. And then you can work as if you're working on your regular laptop or PC. So all of this creates an environment in which the iPad can really replace your main laptop. And the thing that really makes the iPad as a tablet shine, or even as a sort of mock computer, is its snappiness. It works very well, it's quick, it's fast, and everything happens as you expect it to do. And working on the iPad was actually quite easy. So when it comes to preparing your classes and working on a big screen, the iPad works fine, and it can actually replace your laptop. Now, my second scenario I want to look at, and I think is the most important one, is whether you can use the iPad to teach. And I tried this for a day when I did not bring my laptop to school and I was teaching all day with the iPad. Now, I had classes that I knew were able to do this, so I wasn't doing anything particularly difficult in those classes, but it was quite challenging nonetheless. And of course, we need to talk about some of the basic things that really struck me and that I find very important on this day of teaching with my iPad. First, there were no problems connecting my iPad to my Promethean digital board that we had in class, and that worked well. However, there was one thing that did not work, and that was the touch interface on the iPad. So for some reason, when I connected the board to the iPad through USB, so HDMI and USB, I was unable to interact with the iPad using the whiteboard. So usually on a PC, it would simply plug in and download the drivers if necessary. but for some reason, nothing really worked on the iPad, and I was unable to interact with my iPad through the board that I was using. So that was a drawback because I like to write on my board while teaching and annotating articles or giving examples, so I wasn't really able to do that. Now I could avoid this problem by simply using the iPad itself and using my Apple Pencil and writing on the iPad. It wasn't the best solution, but for that particular day it did the trick. And then I also struggled when it came to using PowerPoint. Because when I had the presentation open on the board and then wanted to edit something on my iPad, for some weird reason, PowerPoint stopped presenting. And when I changed from the PowerPoint app to something else, it completely stopped presenting altogether. And it went back to mirroring my screen, even though I had it on extended mode. So I don't know whether this was my inexperience with iPad OS or that this is something I need to turn on somewhere. But even though I did have the multi-screen option enabled, it simply did not work. Now this could be a simple drawback of PowerPoint, and maybe it does work in Presenter, but I haven't tried, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know whether this is the solution. Now this was really a drawback for me because I like to have my lesson plan open on the board and do something else on my iPad while my students are working. So teaching with the iPad worked well, except of course the board thing that did not work and PowerPoint that went wonky when I switched apps. But overall it was a good experience. Now finally I wanted to look at correcting work because I got the iPad, and the same goes for the Surface Pro 11 because of their ability to have pen input. I like giving written feedback on my students' assignments and other assignments that they're doing. Now I'm really nitpicking when it comes to using the pen input. I want low latency, I want direct interaction, and I don't want those weird things where they change your handwriting so that it looks nicer. I just want my handwriting as I write. So I don't like all of those things, and that means that I'm very picky about the app that I'm using on the device. And when it comes to writing on the device, I think Apple did a very good job. At least that was what I was hoping, because I noticed that it really relies a lot on the app that you're using. Their main competitors, Microsoft, which we use at work and at school a lot, did a terrible job when it comes to pen integration on the iPad. They did it very well when it comes to pen integration on Windows, but for the iPad, for some reason, it does not work as smooth. There's a lot of latency, even though this is a 120 Hz screen and low latency device. So if you compare this to Apple's own native apps like Notes, you'll notice that the latency in these apps is way lower than in other apps. And there's nothing the iPad has to do to change this. It's basically the technology that the app developers build into the app to use when people are interacting with the pen. It appears Apple has a particular API for writing, which Microsoft, for example, doesn't use. And I think that's the biggest caveat to think about when you want to buy the iPad and want to use it with a pen to give your students written feedback. Now, if you're not someone like me and you don't care about latency and writing fluency, you can save a lot of money by either getting a regular iPad or maybe an iPad Air. I don't know how this works with drawing because I'm of course not an artist, but there are lots of other YouTube accounts that look at drawing on the iPad and maybe they have different tips that I simply don't know about. So now my conclusion. Can the iPad Pro 2025 with a new M5 chip in all of its goodness really replace your HP laptop as a teacher? When it comes to replacing, I think my answer is no. And that has of course to do with two main things. First of all, the software. If you want to use it for writing and you don't mind the latency issues, you can do that. And then if you have a workflow that really relies on the touch interface of your board, and especially if you have older boards, you might want to reconsider. It's also important to check whether the software that you use on your laptop can be used on an iPad and if there's an iPad version of the app that you use. Remember, you're still not using a full desktop experience. You're still using an iPad. So yes, it can do a lot. But in my workflow, where I have lots of things open, where I'm familiar with the desktop experience and I have lots of different screens, I think that in my case, it cannot replace my full laptop for teaching. Maybe for my other things, but not for teaching. I was able to do some light photo and video editing, which works fine, but full on teaching on an iPad, I don't know. Secondly, it's also important that you check whether everything you have in your classroom at school works with the iPad. So that means that if you have a particular whiteboard, like a Promethean or a ProWise board, or even the old-fashioned smartboard, you need to check whether it's compatible with the iPad. I find it very important that I can use my device through my whiteboard and still write on my board and have things appear on the iPad. And then figuring out that does not work while I'm in class teaching was not a very good experience in my opinion. So it's very important that you check that the devices that you use at school are compatible with the iPad. So what would be a scenario in which you as a teacher would buy an iPad? Well, one of the things that I would say works for the iPad in general, which is not just the iPad Pro, but even the regular iPads, is that you can save a lot of documents on a device that's very thin and light and of course easy to carry around. If you have a laptop or a computer in your classroom and you want something to simply read articles on, or maybe correct some work, or maybe prepare a few classes on the go, then of course the iPad is fine and the iPad Pro does a very good job at this. But I don't think that you should buy the iPad for the sake of replacing your laptop. Unless of course you're replacing the terrible HP ProBook that everyone is using, then of course go for everything that's not an HP ProBook, of course. But I think that the iPad fits this particular purpose of having papers or assignments or OneNote notebooks or other types of notebooks on a thin and light device. So that brings me to my conclusion. Because I think that when it comes to having a best tablet as a teacher, it's still best to go with something that has a full desktop operating system. So in my case, I would still go for something like a Surface Pro 11 or something that looks or resembles a Surface Pro, a two-in-one device of some sort. Because you still get the full desktop experience with the benefits of having a touchscreen and of course a pen. You also won't encounter problems with whiteboards because it's still Windows, so plug and play works fine. Now again, all of this has very little to do with the iPad Pro itself. It's still an excellent device with excellent software, but it's just simply the workflow that you're familiar with and of course the things that you use. The iPad is the best tablet available. That's something that's not on the table, but as a replacement for your laptop as a teacher, I don't think that this is something that you should do. Make sure that the type of device that you use fits your workflow and not the other way around. Now I'll put some links to iPads and of course some apps in the description below so that when you get your iPad you can use these as well and maybe they fit well into your workflow. Let me know in the comments what you would like to know about using an iPad as a teacher and if there's something that you want to figure out first before you go out and spend all of your teaching salary on an iPad. As always, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to consider giving it a thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe because I'm always looking for new technology that fits teachers and that they can use or that we can use in our classrooms. Now stay tuned because I'm also going to get the new MacBook Neo, the $600 Chromebook Windows killer, and see whether students can use this in class, so whether it's worth considering getting for your students. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.